handicap. Meaning that the moment it is announced, in 1 second you should know. So do you have an alert system to get information which is critical for you? If you deal with exchange rate business, I interacted with some foreign exchange traders. They were saying that, oh, we make decision for short term, long term, and so on. And when they ask, oh, how long is your long term in currency trading? Or 5 minutes, no more than 5 minutes. That's long term. So things change instantaneously, So you have to be always ready and alert with this information. The other one is customization. This is actually a book. Go and get the book, The Long Tail. They talk about how value now can be created by everyone. I will come back to this very shortly. The idea is simple. The idea is that those days, one size fits all. Every one of us, maybe those Michael Jackson days. Michael Jackson can entertain the entire world. But today it doesn't work like that. That's why you see that it will be hard to find another Michael Jackson. Because now we come to this discussion of the long tail tells that the value is very much at the end tail. You remember we do the bell curve like that? Those days the value is where it goes up. But now they say that no, the value is not there. The value is at the end tail. When you total up, is more than at the high point. I'll come back to that shortly. What does it mean? And then the networking. This is networking. No one can survive by itself. Value can only be created when you have a network. So how do you manage networks? I've seen a group of this is Institute for Health Improvement in Boston. They have a program, Save 100,000 lives. And how do they achieve what they want to achieve? They don't do it themselves. These days, a lot of things can never be happen by you as the only player in doing it. It requires you to leverage on the networks. You need skill to manage networks. Networks are so critical. The skill of managing networks, getting networks to move are very critical. So IHI in Boston, they use the network of hospitals throughout the US. So managing networks, you get what you want to achieve accomplished by managing networks. Partly actually when we do research, when you see how can someone. I remember that when I was in Cardiff, there's one professor, when I entered his room, he said that he's in a discussion, I saw him alone. He said that he's in UK, he's working with someone in Italy and Germany, and they do the same time. So how do you manage your research in the network? How do you get your network to move and achieving what you want to achieve? So all of us actually must be thinking, how do we operate in the networks? In the networks of things that is we have a common objective. Kalau kita doing some research work or something, we have to think about how to leverage on networks. Sometimes people talk about network, it's just like easier example our mobile phone. That's why mobile phone, kalau you put it to places yang ada network, it has no value. You cannot call yourself. You have to call someone else. The second person buy a phone, the value of your phone increase. The third person, the 1 million person buy the phone, then that phone that you have is more important. And when everybody has a handphone, and you are the only one who doesn't have a handphone, you have zero value. Because everybody is connected, but you are not. So think about networking. And then innovation and creativity. These are, to me, of course, there are many other ways to look into the so-called new economy. These are several elements that I think have changed things very significantly. So let's look into a couple of them. Old phone. Again, hardly you can find. Those days, phone can only do one thing, to call. But we know that today, this is everything now. The business is being done at the fingertips. People do business with this now. Transact, making money, making profits, teaching, and so on, also through handphone now. But how do we catch up with this? We have a new shock, what we call as information shock. It's just like tsunami of information comes to us. We have to learn how to sort. We must have a skill. Probably at GSB we must introduce a course, managing information. Researching, getting information. many of us do PhD last time. The way we do our PhD and the way the more recent group are different. In our days, we kept in the library. I remember chasing around, carrying HX153, cari buku, journal, buku, satu library. But nowadays, maybe I start to think, pustakawan, is it time to close your library or what? You know, I mean, sometimes people ask me, we want more bigger library. So how do we do with this? I went to Singapore, I visited Singapore National Library. You know, I mean, they are reducing space. Everything is digitized. You borrow things. Those days, antara kesalahan besar is to return the book late. But nowadays, they kill. There's no more returning books. Because when you buy what they did, when you borrow, whenever things are registered, I mean, have this all copyright, they give you the password, you can have access, like it or not. If the due date to return the book is tomorrow, it will disappear tonight. You access, you couldn't get it. So the business of to wait for someone returning to chop, no more. You know, I mean, things being digitized. So we have to think about how we can do this. Now, this is the so-called one size fits all. Read this book, The Long Tail. The Long Tail is good. It's been there for quite some time. The idea goes like this. Those days, maybe not our era, our parent era, but this guy can serve the entire humanities. Meaning that for entertainment reason, they can. Our era, probably something like this. $6 million man. You know, those days, like it or not, if you miss $6 million man, tomorrow you lost your world. You don't know what's happening. Because everybody will be talking about how this guy jumped, how he ran, he almost get killed, but luckily he can jump, you know. And then people were discussing what happens if he cannot jump, you know. So $6 million man, you know, during my time, many of us at the same age, right? We play game, we make music. When I run, and then I know, oh, that's easy. Looking at you are using your bionic eye. You know, when you run with the music can tell. Some of you are born in 1990s, you do not know what it is. You know? But on our days, you ask June, you ask Gaffa, myself, Datuk, maybe Pirabi time lah. Then, you know, I mean, what does it mean? It means that those days, well, one thing is because of the technology. In order for you to be the best, there's only one to be the best. Channels, there's only 2 channels. Channel 1, channel 2. But nowadays, macam-macam. So now, the issue nowadays is that the economy becomes like buying a pen. If you are in marketing, if you are in product design, you have to think about how the needs of the customers are there. They don't care. You just produce the product, I tell you how I want it. You buy the pen today, they tell you what color you want, red, there are lobster red, there is sunrise red, sunset red, there are many kinds of red, banyak merah yang ada. Kalau you tak puas hati, you just pilih your own number, you tekan-tekan, shake. This is your red. Nowadays, maybe they start with buying ICI by painting. But soon, I heard that now they're thinking that you go and buy shoes. These days, we go and buy shoes, we say, I want size 7. I want this design size 7. They will be coming very soon. I want this, but size Azlan. What does it mean? I put my leg there, and they can see the curve of my foot down there, and then that shoes is only for me. When you buy cars, remember that if anyone of you learn about this Ford, masalah T model, no matter what car, it has to be black. You can choose whatever color you want as long as it is black. You know? But nowadays, maybe you have more cars, but sooner you can also get the car to be macam. You choose your color. You won't believe me. But this is how the world is going to be out there. The taste, the changing parameters of the customers, the changing parameters out there, they want to be part of the design. I want to be part of it. You don't tell me what blue is good for me. I tell you what blue that I want. So how do you design products? How do you put up advertisements? How do you sell your ideas? How can you tell them this product is for you? They don't want you to come. They don't want you to decide for them. They want to decide for whatever they want. You know? So you have to be ready for this. And that also means opportunities are widened. Means all rank can survive. Every single thing that you do has an opportunity as long as you can find the right grouping. You want your product and so on. So these are part of the doctrine. This is very quick. I just want to go this very quickly. Actually, this word down there, factor-driven, and then investment-driven. Kalau di Malaysia, this is era of Mahathir, and then knowledge-driven. This word, kalau you search, actually Michael Porter's work, is talking about how a country and economy move from factor-driven, investment-driven, innovation-driven. No, don't feel that just because we are not scientists, we have no role in this. No. We are people in social science, looking into maybe from the perspective of a nation, of a strategy, of a company, and so on. We have to think about how all this come into our the operations of our business. I don't know, maybe some of you have seen it. I'm quite excited to see all these things. I spent time, I ran a car from San Francisco, from LA, I go to San Francisco, Highway 1, I return back Highway 5. If you go from that way, you see that this to San Francisco, Silicon Valley, LA is all the entertainment business, sophisticated one, but in between that is pure agriculture. And how they do agriculture, you have seen this kind of machines and so on. But the most interesting one I saw is that I think it's walnut. Walnut pokok dia tercipu. Dia pokok. The machine like this come, click, they click on the tree, and then they vibrate that. At certain rate of vibration, only certain kind of walnut will fall. This is what they call precision farming. Precise. You no longer wait for durian to come down themselves. You go and shake the durian tree. The right durian is right growth. I don't know many of you know durian tree, but I take out the photo. Actually, durian tree nowadays is already too short. I've seen coconut tree that tall with a lot of coconuts. So if your business is climbing the coconut tree, you are out of business. Because coconut is just plucking like that. No more coconut will be tall like that. Soon durian will be duryless. Durian without duri. Durian without the knots. It will happen. So what happens is that they shake and then the walnut goes down. I saw the machine come and then the same machine vacuum it. At the rate of certain rates of vacuum, they pick up the right size of walnut. That's why you see that products now come to you in a very standardized quality and so on. So these are the type of customers that we are looking at in the future. You have to be ready for this kind of thing, and to see how technology can come into your operations. So many things in our case also being a universities, we have to think how to deliver education with technology. How can we do it? Now in this room, for example, if we want to do telecommunication, there is a problem already. How can we really, nowadays I've seen a boardroom like this. Sometimes they put a telecommunication, but now in the boardroom, you see, there seems like chairs, but there's no one sitting there. Other than that guy is actually in Germany, that guy is in Japan, and so on. They have meetings like that. As good as everyone is talking to each other. You feel like, why in the world you got like this? But cut costs. Many companies cut costs of traveling. Executive to travel, move from one place to the other. If you are in the airline business offering first class service, if executive no longer travel, probably the survived airline will be a budget airline. I do not know. What is the airline business next 20 years down the line? Those days it started with people have a lot of money travel. These days people don't have enough money travel. All those yang potong rumput dekat rumah kita semua tak ada, basically don't have that much money. They come from Pakistan, from this and that. They come here and they are the one who consume the airline business. Who travel most today will reverse. So if you are in the airline business, doing marketing strategy, doing strategic thing for Malaysia Airline, you better decide what kind of airline you want to be in the next 10, 20 years. Because when you buy airplane is not like a backup truck. Airplane you book today, you get another 10 years. Or maybe 3 years, because they are very monopolistic market and technology is too sophisticated. By the time you get your airplane, no one wants to go to your first class. Then you are in trouble. Takkan you nak jual macam Asia punya business. So you have to think about it. Technology can do wonder. Watermelon no longer in round shape. Watermelon come in square. Why? But someone says that when watermelon come in like a bowling punya thing, it easily fall. When they fall, watermelon, it'll jatuh, tak ada ready. So how can I prevent watermelon from falling down? I have to think about how watermelon can be square. So with square shape, it's hard to fall down. So a lot of round things probably cannot survive. I don't know. But this is already in the market now. You know, if you look at the business of furniture development, how do you pronounce it? Until today, I couldn't dare to pronounce it the right way. IKEA, right? Some says IKEA, some says it's just like Kafu, Kofu, whatever name lah. You know, IKEA business is actually, it's not about furniture. IKEA don't offer you, my interpretation of the new economy, what they don't offer you furniture. They offer you a business of packaging. How they reduce the cost is that part of the job of the people in IKEA is actually to think, how can I put this furniture as close as possible? Because if you set tables on the airplane or on the ship, they go by size. It's empty down here. Those who bring back cars from UK, you know the story. UBC is more than that because they set by cubic size. So you put everything, make sure everything is filled up. So put it like that, smash it, so that no more pickup truck, rental, U-Haul will be in trouble in US, you know, because everybody can ship their own thing, table, sofa in the car. I don't know. Someone come to me and bring something small like this. Just like this. Just like a table that, I've seen this myself. Just like a 20 cents coin. And they put in front of me, what is this? I don't know. I mean, it looks like macam carrot punya. You know what is it? T-shirt. How can it become T-shirt? You wait 1 minute. These are all nanotechnology. And suddenly it becomes T-shirt. You can wear the T-shirt. T-shirt is like this. But today, you might, it doesn't have a quality of T-shirt. But those, sooner or later, you will see that this technology will appear. And maybe the most branded brand will come in just small pack like that. If you are about to open up a shipping business, you'll be in trouble. If you're just about to order a ship, cargo ship, you'll be in trouble. Because you cannot pay for it because now shipping is just like that. Shipping T-shirt, can you imagine? Shipping T-shirt like this? You know, I don't know, I mean, things will change. And these are the so-called new things that is happening now. And many other things will happen. And we have to be ready for this happening. What is convention is being challenged. What is convention is being challenged. What is a university? What is a college of business? What is education is being challenged. It's being challenged seriously. Now Harvard and MIT is doing so-called something that we probably don't want to do it, you know, this online reading and online business education. And they take it very seriously. Sooner or later you want to get access to knowledge. Probably today you say you must go to UKM to get UKM degree. But soon, I think in 10 years time, you will say that I decide what I want. You don't tell me what MBA I want. I will design my own MBA. Select here. And then come together, one accreditation body says you have MBA. Why can't I get the best econometrician in UKM? If there's a better econometrician there, but of course designing is better lah. You know? But the point is that if things are so good next door, why can't I do that? Why am I locked only for UKM? Why am I only can get UKM knowledge? Why can't I get knowledge just out there? Sooner someone will come and offer this. So let's go very quickly. These are the new normal. These are structural. Earlier on, the new economy is thinking, where are the values? How you have to be ready for it. These are new norms. Of course, this probably not. I mean, well, you can. I use this for the case of public policy government, but I believe that in business also is the same like this. Do not underestimate an educated society. When society become more educated, their behavior change. They want to be engaged. You know, when I discuss with the product, they want to be engaged in the design of the product. If you, any one of you study how Lego do their products, you know, Lego business, Lego actually, the design of Lego is a lot coming from, they call it upcycling innovation, if I'm not mistaken. Meaning that it is their users who are telling them what they want, what they should produce. Toyota, there is, I think it's in Japan, they put their research lab, their automotive design in the middle of the city, so that their designers can go out and see things out there. So that they design something what people want. They don't design something what they want. Today we design a lot of things that what we want. But actually we have to think the other way around, you know. The ownership, choice, responsibility, inclusivity. Walmart already started. Walmart requires you to give not the price tag, but the environment tag. When you sell, let's say you are a manufacturer selling products to Walmart, one of the things they want to know is how much, basically, to what extent that you spoil the environment when you produce this product. The prawn farmers in Thailand have a problem with that. Because when they farm prawns, they are exporting prawns to US, but then how do they manage their farm? The discharge to the river and so on. Walmart want to know that. Unless you tell them how, they will not buy your products. So, environment, responsibility, all these inquisitive, they want to know more. Those days we only want to know product, but now I want to know how you come to this product. So, and that matters. If you have discharge, how do you handle your discharge? That's why all these ISO business group ada dalam environment kan, dalam environment side. And soon, I believe that all, now I'm talking especially more to MBAs, all MBAs must know how to deal with the environment. If you have no idea how to deal with the environment, I think you will not be able to get a job. Because part of the thing that you must know is how are you affecting the environment. The world is so worried about this situation nowadays. They say that rain come at any time, seasons gone, you know, and a lot of things are, you know, affecting values and so on. And these are a couple of new normal. This might not be a good representation, but the world become very uncertain. Those days, when we learn economics, most of the economists here, right? We learn, mesti ada Great Depression 1930s kan? Everybody will start by talking about the Great Depression in the 1930s. And then after that, there's no more long Great Depression. And suddenly in 2009, 2011, 2012, every year is Great Depression. You know, those days, Great Depression is long, it takes something major to disrupt the world. In 1970s, when the price of petroleum goes to about $15 per barrel or something like that, it creates panic in the world. Today it's 130 plus, 100, you know, people say, okay, we used to it. Uncertainty, things change so fast. You know, so your organization has to be designed such that it can be ready for these changes. Your decision, your organization side has to be very fluid, such that it can allow you to adapt and to change in the new environment. Be it in the design of organization, product, blah, blah, blah. And you have to be ready for this kind of uncertainty. Uncertainty is extremely high. The other one is the pace of demographic shift. These are new normal. This is truly new normal. And, you know, so we have to study this. How does the society change when family gets smaller? How do you design properties? How do you design your apartment that you want to sell? If the family, I was telling that my grandfather ada anak 11 orang. Itu standard rate satu tu. You know, all of our grandfathers mostly have about 11 or 10 children. But then it reduced 5, nowadays 2, in some probably, no, I don't want yet. I heard, I think it's true. My wife duduk Singapore. Sometime back in Singapore there is a lagu, one boy, one girl, 2 is enough. Nowadays, to get one also difficult. It becomes part of the society. that they are not interested in building family. In Germany, if you give birth, I mean, those days, in Singapore, when you give birth more than 2, you are penalized. In Germany now, you give birth, you get long holiday with bonus. Because you add 1 more person as a population. You know, I told my long time back lah, masa ada kat IPU dulu, one of my pemandu dia kata, oh dia anak banyak susah, you better move to German now. So that you can get your life will not be easier. They gave up people with big families. You know, so demographic pattern really changed, and the transaction in economy and how we do things, the preference, the way consumer is budgeting, I mean the needs for financial products, savings and so on will be very different. Imagine that if you have only 1 kid, I'm sure you will put a lot of savings to make sure that this kid can go to the best in his life, his or her life. So financial product, banks also have to design product for people with only small family. So these are things that people thought health is good, people live longer is good, but believe me, when people live too long, it's not good. In Japan, everybody knows that in many parts of Japan, sometimes the average age is 90 years old. But the problem is that in society, if people who learn demographic labor market, in 1 generation, there will be 3 generations roughly. One is those who go to school, education, one is in the middle, the other one is at the upper layer. If you draw the demographic triangle, at all time, there's only 1 generation is working and subsidizing the other 2. Our kids don't go to work, but they eat every day. You know, people who are at 90 years old, most of the time they don't work anymore, but they also have to be given food and eat. So when people live longer, Social Security is a big thing. That's why in US, we take now, the health system or the Social Security become a big subject of research. In Malaysia, maybe not yet, but it's coming. In many countries, like for example, Malaysia now, female lives 77 years old, male is 73 on average. What does that mean toward the labor market? On top of that, the layer in the middle, the younger generation, those days when they finish their study, they want to work. So the addition to the labor market is there, always new entrants. But these days, when our children now, when they graduated, they tell us, you know what, Baba, can I get one year, 1 to 2 round to work? You don't want to work still. I thought they were going to work. But nowadays, after graduation, is to experience life. So means Papa and Mama still have to provide the income. So they delay their entrance into the job market. And people in the job market nowadays are not like before. They change job very frequently. The younger generation, those days managing turnover is probably not so much a big problem. But these days, people naturally move from job to job. There's no more like my father worked for 30 years in the TNC, no more. Every one of us is actually expected to change job every alternate days. You know, maybe not alternate days, but at least you must have 4 types of jobs in your lifetime. So if any one of you still have 1 type of job, you have to think about, maybe do some of the business now, but can't it. Don't underestimate this business now. I just recently met a legal, someone who graduated. The father invested life of saving to become a lawyer, and that particular student graduated with a law degree and decided, go away law, I want to do a cupcake business. And the cupcake business is generating more than the legal fees, and no headache. You know, cupcake, just cupcake. Especially all of us are dealing with our younger kids, we know how they change, their pattern change. Globalizations. You must be ready to work with a different culture, different society. Everyone has to be ready. Honestly, coming back, I just shared earlier this morning with a different group. Coming back from Sri Lanka, I learned one thing. Most of us, especially the faculty members, we are very comfortable of working with people from advanced countries. To work in Boston, to work in London, Tokyo, people who just think like us is so easy. But actually, the moment you are asked to work with people who are far behind you really have to be ready to to Sabah, right? They don't talk like us. I know that everyone is so excited to ask questions. When people in Sri Lanka, Datuk and myself was telling them, ask questions, finally we got tired, they don't respond. Culture, society, how they evaluate ranks, who should talk, who should not talk, if A talk, what B should talk. So how do you deal with this environment? I interacted with engineers in Sandabi. They said they have operation in Liberia. The culture there is even terrible. I mean, how do you manage your organization when you have a multicultural kind of people? Bernas people come back from Africa, but they have a battlefield there. They were telling me that one of the problems is actually a lot of people, our people come back. You know why? Because everyone go to work, bring guns. Have you ever worked with someone bring guns in front of you? If let's say, Tuan ada pistol, berani bawa dia masuk. In some society, it's okay. Gun is no problem. Go to you. So you have to be ready. I mean, how can you send expanded? So working with a different culture is an experience. We have to find this. Some of our friends come from abroad, and we are interacting with them with a different culture, different style of doing things. What does it mean when you say yes in certain culture? In some countries, I heard that, for example, when I was in the EU, I worked on the Middle East focus group. I don't know how true it is. Datuk have been in Middle East, but they were telling me that the real transaction only happened not in the boardroom, only when they invite you for dinner. When they invite you to your house, that means they trust you. If in the meeting room they say yes, 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 no. I learned one thing from Datuk John, spending 3 weeks, I learned about IBM. Sorry, if this hurts any society, please forgive me. Datuk Prof soon, inshallah, going to be in that culture. They said that, I said, how do you work that? They said, they always IBM. They work with IBM. We do this, inshallah. And then the other one, Bukhara means, let's do this, Bukhara tomorrow. And then, mashallah, that's it. And then finally they forget what we discussed with them. They say the IBM, how they live with IBM. I mean, society is different, they behave differently. In some countries, there's urgency. You work with, sorry to say, they are Japanese friends. I attended a couple of, working, my professors, my chairman is a Korean professor, Korean American. I think even for him, he's celebrating Christmas. Malam, I know, kerja lagi. Christmas Eve is still working. No, have you done your work? Tomorrow is Christmas. Oh yes, I know that. Still working. So, different culture expect you to work differently. In some culture, this is how they work. In some culture, this is how they work. So you have to be ready for that kind of thing. And then digital society, we talk about this. Look at this huge increase of digitizations, and no organization, no person can survive without this. Now, because of all this, we have to remix our offerings. When I say offerings, whatever things that you think you are of value. If I am value as an artist, I would think about if I offer my artistic service, how is it? If I am a graduate school of business, how is it? If I'm an engineer, how should I offer my engineering business? If I am in banking, how should I offer my banking services? In whatever field. Why must we change something? These are not really giving answers, but some of it still. The world is getting complex. Cross-multidisciplinary knowledge is critical. You need, all things that we research on has been to re-investigated. Me in monetary economics, in my early days of an academic, I've been studying about money supply, monetary aggregates, M1, M2, M3, and then come with a group of, talk about, hold on, when I did my PhD, they start asking about the moneyness of money. I said, what the hell is that? Some money does not carry the characteristic of money as much as the other money. So what is that? Then they said the Senegalese Federalism come up with 12, they call it division, monetary aggregates. M1, M2, M3 is totally wrong, they say. It's wrong to aggregate apple and oranges together. You cannot say that when you aggregate the two, it becomes the same money. So there's a new way of interpreting that. I was ashamed to tell you, I made a big, lousy, stupid mistake. I was in the US during era macam June, and many of us lah. Those days, having a checking account is the most important thing, right? We buy chocolates also, we write checks. Coming back, oh, I have checking account. Wow, checking account. So when everybody use checks. 2010, I went to Boston. You know that I went there. I haven't been in the US for that long. Of course, short visit, use credit cards. Dia malu ada cerita kat you. I went to the Bank of America in Boston. And they said I want to open up an account. And proudly said that I need a checkbook. I need a check to do payments. I remember that it was 2010. That guy's looking at me up and down saying, "You want a checkbook?" I said, "Fine, give me one checkbook." I stayed there for 1 year. I had only used one check, just because I don't have the ATM card yet. They are really, really cashless society. Terribly cashless. No one carrying cash. All transaction is all cards. Money is buying groceries and everything is swiped. You don't see money, right? People, so now when it become a cashless society, that is what is the role of money in this society? How do you define money? How do you define the role of the central bank? Monetary policy, how do you conduct monetary policy when people don't carry cash? What is the role of the institution in the creation of money? Nowadays, probably even the groceries can create money. I don't know how it is, but we become a totally cashless society. Nowadays, those yang do US, 80s, and belajar kat US, I tell you go here. 2010, I puzzled, I feel like, what happened to the US? Even all students, kita masih guna duit kan dalam kampus kan, dia pun tak guna kan. Most campus tak guna, anak-anak kita yang pergi belajar US kan. All money is all in the cards. Swipe cards, photostat, swipe card, you buy fractions, swipe card, you buy pizza, and then, no one is carrying money. So, what is the implication? We have to get, all studies have to be research again. Multitasking, you are expected to do many things at the same time. I think, so when we design for us in the graduate programs, in working with the students, we have to make sure that you are a person who can do multitasking. You can do many things. In organizations, like yesterday there was a discussion about all this keperluan staff dekat UKM. Again, we are looking at most of our staff are very much, they just do nothing. Those days, a person who is a typist only type in his life. Only type. My job is typist. Therefore, I only type. Now, how do you get people to do multitasking at the same time? And then, expectations out there is terribly different. They expect from you what they expect from you, the expectation, and more importantly, because there are many stakeholders, for academics like us, the industry is asking like this, the KPT is asking like this, you as a person, there are various stakeholders around you, and you've got to be ready to meet all these expectations. And then this is, we discussed this, let me choose my topics, meaning that no choice is no longer a choice. Customization is extremely critical. Everything has to be customized. When you say student-specific, student-centered, it means that we have to work with you as one student. How I work with you and how I work with you is different. In many business dealings and so on, things has to be really becoming very customized. If you want to go up, whatever services that you want to provide, you must ask whether will I be able to respond to the individual needs of my customers? How can I do that? And how do I manage my organization if that becomes this is about brand. This one actually I shared this slide also on some other places. Who are you? You are what you eat. And then what is our brand? What is our characters and identity? People are asking for that. You cannot survive to be generic anymore. You cannot say, I'm a school of business. They will look at you, there's so many school of business. Who are you actually? Who are you? When you stand up in front of potential employers, who are you? You have to reveal that to them. That this is me, this is my characters, this is my strength, and this is what is me in person. You have to really be ready to do that kind of thing. And then innovate on that to remain alive. And relevant. Kalau kita tak buat apa-apa, that is what we will get. Study conclude that the percentage of our customers will buy from us if we don't do anything. It's 0%. So that's it. Very quickly, I hope that the sharing is a very loose sharing, but I hope that it will trigger you to start thinking about what actually that you want to do in your life, how you want to deliver your offerings, how you want to be recognized, how you want to operate, how your organization should operate, how your works, your transactions should operate. You have to basically really make sure that these elements of the new economy, the new normal, is something that you consider very seriously. Alright, thank you very much.